the first, good. I'll call the meeting to order. The first thing on the agenda is adoption of the agenda. Everyone has had time to look at that, so I need a mover and a seconder to adopt the agenda.
I'll make a motion to adopt.
Jim.
I could second that.
Okay, good. Thanks, Ryan. All in favor?
Yes.
Carried. Disclosure of pecuniary interest. Does any of the board members have anything they need to declare?
Nothing from me.
Okay. If not, we'll go on to the minutes from the previous meeting. Everyone's had a copy of that as well. So if I need a motion to adopt the minutes as circulated and printed. Moved by Bill, seconded by Jim. All in favor?
Yes.
Carried. Business arising from the minutes. Anything that needs to be discussed? Jim, go ahead.
I have a question in regards to the financials on section 6. In particular, the 6.1 paragraph 3, I think it is, in regards to the invested money of the Kraft Hockeyville. I was wondering what the dollar amount that was given to the winner for the 50-50 draw. Does anyone have that number? I believe they had one.
I'm just pulling them up right now, Jim, but I don't know that I'll be able to answer that.
Okay. And if so, I was just kind of curious how much it was and where that money would be.
So the 50-50 wouldn't have been done through the municipality. Was that a fundraiser through minor hockey?
I don't know. I think it was taking place at the event in St. Thomas at the arena. Am I correct on that, Bill?
Yeah, and Jess just joined, so she'll be the right one to hopefully be able to answer that.
Okay. Jess, did you hear that question or did you miss it?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I kind of caught part of it. Wondering where the 50-50 money from. It was all deposited into the account, I believe. I will double check with that. But
I was curious of the dollar amount that was actually the winner received.
It would be posted on our Facebook page from way back when, because you have to. I can't remember how much it was. So I can find out that information because I just don't remember.
So the 50-50 draw funds plus the merchandise funds is in a particular account that you opened up. Is that correct?
No, just the merch is in that account.
And the dollar amount again was that, Jess?
Just over 10,000.
Okay. So the 50-50 funds then would go to a separate account?
It would have to go into a trust account, I believe, because that's the rules through OLG. But let me find out where that went.
Okay. And then the 10,000 was in the account set up by yourself, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
So you are the owner of that account?
Myself and Mary Jo.
Okay. Not in the minor hockey account?
Correct.
Okay. So maybe the next meeting we can have that information?
Sure.
Thank you.
Anything else arising from the minutes?
No, that took care of my next question as well in the financials.
Okay.
Thanks, Mr. Chair.
Okay, good. If there's nothing else from the minutes, then we'll go on to the financials. Everyone has a copy of those. Is there any questions on the financials that were presented? Seeing no questions, then I need a mover and a seconder to adopt the financials as presented.
Make that motion.
Okay. Ryan and Bill, all in favor?
Yes.
Carried. New business, skating club update. Jim?
Okay. Skating club update, the registration is open. This year, well, last year we had 109 members, in the skating club, which was good. Going forward this year, the Intro to Hockey program joint venture with the West Elgin Minor Hockey and the skating club is terminated. And the reason for termination is that for the past few years, we've lost considerable amount of money, $5,000 in total, and negotiating, trying to keep the program going. We just could not come to a mutual agreement on helping the funding on the skating club side. So the minor hockey and the skating club have agreed to terminate that program. And going forward, our programs this year will be the can skate program, pre-can skate program. We have a parent and tot program and hockey skating skills program. So like I said, registration is open. We've had some phone calls from parents looking forward to the intro to hockey skating on Wednesday night. And we had to identify to them that the program is not a joint venture this year. So hopefully we get a good turnout of registration. And unfortunately, we couldn't make this work going further. And we just couldn't take any more financial losses.
Thanks, Jim. Any questions for Jim? Seeing none, we'll go on to minor hockey update. Jess, I guess, go ahead.
So our registration is also open. We have 3 teams already confirmed that were done in the spring. And we are looking to have the same amount of teams for this year. And that includes our girls hockey. It's the same amount of teams total. But we have separate girls hockey, as I kind of alluded to before. Those teams have been solidified as of, I believe, yesterday. And we're still looking for additional players if that's the case, but made our minimum amount. So that's off to a great start. Our registration for local league is open, and as Jim alluded to, we have gone our separate ways for the intro to hockey program, and ours is filling up. It's filling up fast, so that's good.
Okay. Any questions for Jess? Seeing none, I guess we're going to the staff operations report.
Mr. Chair,
Okay,
sorry to
go
interrupt.
ahead, Jim.
I did forget to mention something in our registration. This year, there are no voluntary fees required by the parents. So that is money saved for them. And as our bingo count, we have to keep that going, and hopefully we can keep that funding going. I forgot to mention the bingo side of things. We just had poor participation on parents taking part, and we get so many strikes against us, and then we lose our license. So we're taking better control of that. And the registration includes the Skate Canada fees and insurance, but no voluntary fees required by parents.
Okay, good. Thanks, Jim, for adding that. Go on to staff operations report. Adam, I guess.
Adam's having some troubles right now with his computer. He is not able to hear anything. So I will do my best to give an update for Adam.
Good, thank you.
So the board project, I was in the arena yesterday. Everything is looking great. The boards are up, the glass is up. It's now just kind of getting down to the final touches. And of course, what is a big project without any additional unexpected things that just they weren't able to catch until the boards were the original ones were taken out. So there is some work that needs to be done on the outside of the boards in not on the ice part, but that some flooring needs to be filled in. So Adam is going to be getting some quotes on that and what we're looking at for costing. And then, of course, that will go back to the board will be updated and go back to the councils, respective councils, as we need some funding approval for that. It's going to be a little time sensitive with the election coming up and potential for lame duck, and needing some extra funding. So stay tuned for that. I believe that's all that's going on at the arena. I wish Adam was here. He could fill in. Any questions at all on that? And I can certainly get the information and get that from Adam.
Any questions for Terry?
Okay.
Nope.
So the next item I did have, it's not really in operations, but of course it has to do with the arena. So in one of our previous meetings, we were chatting about potential for grants to add on to the Kraft Hockeyville money. So the original one that I was looking at, we do not qualify for that. That is for a complete build or a tear down of an arena and rebuild. However, a couple weeks ago, Adam did receive an email from Simcoe. It's funding up to $1 million for arena upgrades. So it's called the Building Communities Strong Fund Local Impact Stream for Southern Ontario. Covers up to 50% of eligible project costs, funding from $125,000 to $1 million, non-repayable. Supports arena and community facility upgrades, and the application deadline is August 6th. Projects must be shovel ready. We cannot start before April 1st, 2027. Must be completed within 2 years and demonstrates clear community benefits and readiness. In my professional opinion, I think that this is a great opportunity for us to submit another grant and add on to that Kraft Hockeyville money. I know the community is very eagerly waiting for us to move forward with that money, but I think that this is a great opportunity for us to get some more funding. Really at the end of the day, we're ready to do these renovations. We were ready for it. We can start right after the ice season ends in 2027. So I guess what I'm looking for from the board is some comment or really some go ahead for me. I know we talked about scaling back the project and moving forward with some updated plans. That has not been done yet. I'd like to hear from the board what you would like me to do going forward. Do you want to go for this grant and see if we can get that? Or are we still looking at the scaled back and working with the funding that we have?
Any comments from the board members in that regard? Go ahead, Jess.
I just want to comment. I don't know. I know we talked about scaling back, but I'm not. I don't know if I personally. I don't think I'm of the mindset that that's something that we should consider first and foremost. I think we still need to shoot for the stars and what we originally had planned. So applying for this grant, absolutely would fall into that. But I think there needs to be, a 10,000 foot kind of strategy for how we're going to get to where we had intended to get to the first time, whether that be, sponsorship dollars or, fundraising initiatives or, these grants that come up. There's the Trillium grant, there's a whole bunch of stuff. So I kind of am looking for a bigger picture, I guess, plan from this committee, and seeing how we can get to the same end result using that Kraft Hockeyville money as just a portion of it. Essentially, the thermometer with the Kraft Hockeyville money, kind of at the top, if that makes sense. But in terms of this grant, yeah, absolutely. I think it's something we definitely need to do.
Thanks, Jess. Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, my question is, in regards to the grant, would we have to kind of sit and wait until we got the results from that, whether we are approved or accepted, before we continued on doing anything else? Is this going to kick the can down the road farther before we start?
Unfortunately, that is going to be the downfall, and we will certainly put lots of communication out. Because working with only the funding that we have right now is certainly not going to get us to where we want to be. So as Jess mentioned, we don't have a strategy in place right now of how we're going to get there, whether it's municipal funding, whether it's fundraising opportunities, sponsorships. That is something that we certainly need to work for. As I said, in my professional opinion, I think that we do need to go for this grant. Unfortunately, yes, there will be a waiting period. It'll certainly be a top priority as the grant application is due in less than a month. However, a lot of the groundwork has already been done with that previous grant. Using that, I can book a call with Simcoe too, that they will kind of give us pointers and tips on how to up our chances, I guess, with that grant. But yeah, unfortunately, if we're looking to do that full project, it is going to kick the can down the road because we simply just don't have the money to do it.
Along that line, Terry and Jess, I totally agree that we should be trying to apply getting as much money as we can. Yes, it's going to push things down the road. But if we don't try, we won't get it. So I'm in favor of attempting it.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the community is going to have to sit back and wait to see something happening.
Yeah, I'll work with
it-
Jenna, and we will create a communication that explains what we're doing, what our vision is, and why we haven't moved forward with that funding yet. I think anybody in these times knows that the money doesn't go very far. So we want the bigger project, so we need to get that funding. So we do also have some contacts too that are grant writers to help us with that as well. I myself am not a grant writer, so I'm going to be reaching out to strengthen the previous grant, see what we were missing in it and what held us back from getting that, to see if we can get this new one. I mean, from looking at it, we check all the boxes. So I really think that we need to go for this.
Yep. In regards to the fundraising, fundraising is always interesting. Take someone to spearhead the opportunity or the project. Would that be someone from the board who would have to spearhead that, or would it be the municipality? And what type of fundraising would people be interested in considering? Because I know the community's tapped out as far as asking for funds. Like it's
Typically it's a group, a fundraising group. It's not the municipality that does it.
Okay.
Just to kind of give an example, the Rodney Park that was that's underway right now. That was a whole separate group. They created their own group. They had to work with the municipality. The grant had to be done through the municipality, funding or funds received. But that was a whole separate user group that did that.
Okay.
I think everyone on the board is in support of going ahead with this application. Terry, do you need a resolution from us?
Yes, if I could get a resolution to move forward with that, then I have that record, please.
Okay. So I'll go ahead, Jess.
I was just going to make the motion.
Thank
Okay,
you.
good. Okay. I need a seconder. Brian? Okay, all in favor?
Yes.
That's carried, of course. And, maybe once we kind of get a little further along, I'm not sure where our costs are going to be, and I know Spreet's been hired. I'm not sure where they're at, but I think it's important in our communication to let people know that we've done some of the things that were in the original plans, the dehumidifier, the boards, just so that they understand we're just not sitting around doing nothing. So
yeah, I'll certainly create something. and work with Jenna to get that posted. We'll send it out to all the board members as well. And then once it's posted, please share it just so that everybody is aware of what we're doing and what we're looking at. I'm sure we can create something too to maybe to post at the arena as well. Um, Adam reminded me yesterday of how quickly we're coming to ice getting back in. So it's crazy to believe when we just opened our pool.
Yeah.
So certainly soon there'll be users back in the arena. So we'll do everything we can to get that communication across to all residents. But as I said, please once that information is out, please share it.
Okay. So that's good. And I think maybe we need to, once we get the application, we'll have maybe a little better handle on what funds we really need to raise, and maybe next meeting or something we can start talk about.
Yeah,
forming a
once I
committee.
book the call with whoever I'm going to be talking with, and I guess the deadline to apply will be before our next meeting. But if I find out a little more details of like what we're looking at timing wise, anything like that, I can just shoot an email out to the board just so that you guys all have a heads up of what we're looking at time wise.
Yep, that's good. And I guess the other thing I commonly make, yes, it may slow us down a little bit, but we really, even if we were ready to go today, you couldn't start any work there much until next summer anyway. So
Yeah, it's April 1st, 2027 is what we can't start before then. So really it's right after the season. Yeah.
Go ahead, Jess.
Yeah, and I think it's important, like I think the community, if they were to weigh what they would rather have happen, I think it would still be, complete what we had set out to complete in the first versus, just using the money
Yeah.
for the sake of using the money. And I think, I think we have set the expectations for the community as best we possibly could. I know we've put out communications, we've shared. Bill, you've, put out communications. And I think people have to, what I kind of say to people is like, look, Lucan won in 2018 and they just finished theirs, right?
Mhm.
Like this stuff takes time. It takes patience. Like things are, constantly changing. We all know that. It would be good to have an update from Spreet on, if we were to do exactly what we had said we were going to do, years ago. I believe the price tag was somewhere around 1.2 million. Is that correct? Or what that price tag looks like now,
Yeah.
and say, and here's what we're doing. We're going for this $1 million grant. Actually, we wouldn't get the $1 million because it's only 50%. So what does that number look like if we were to? If we didn't, here are some of the fund. We're looking to put a fundraising community. Are our sponsorship dollars from the new board opportunities, are those going to be earmarked for, upgrades only? Or is it 50% going to operations and 50% going to, upgrades or something like that? I think if we have, a clear kind of strategy, it's easier to explain to people why this takes time. I know this grant is good, but there are other grants out there. The Trillium grant, there's, the Green Lane, I know gives money. I can kind of tap into getting a list of some of the ones that are out there that we might be able to look at.
If you don't mind, Jess, if you know of any, the challenge will be the Trillium grant. It'll be very unlikely because we just received one for the Rodney Park.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
we can always try. There's no harm in trying, and it doesn't cost us anything to submit the applications.
You don't know if you don't. Yeah, you don't know if
Exactly.
you don't.
Yeah, we're not going to get an answer if we don't submit the application.
Absolutely. And I know like it is a lot easier to go through the municipality, and sometimes you have to go through the municipality so that you don't have to be in a corporation. You don't have to have, like us as a board, we don't have to have, audited financials and all that kind of an incorporation and bylaws and all that kind of stuff. So it makes it a lot easier. So I think if we say like, hey, we're applying for this grant, this grant, this grant, this grant. It does show that we're trying to move the ball forward instead of kicking the can. Right.
And I think all of us want to see that whole project done.
Mhm.
It's just a matter of how we get there and how soon. And
You bet.
A decade goes by pretty quick based on my age.
yeah, we all have that problem, Jim. Anything else for Terry? You got everything you need from us then, Terry?
Yes, I do have everything that I need. Thank you. And I think that's all the updates that I have.
Okay, thank you. I guess we'll go on to the tier system of ice renter policy. I guess we've talked about that for a while. Adam's not here, so I don't know who's going to present that. If it's Terry or Jen, but go ahead, whoever.
I'm going
can
to leave
talk
it in
about
Jenna's
that.
hands.
Yeah, because I worked on that. So there should be two documents for you guys. So one would be the Bo Horvat Arena Ice User Tier System, and that's more of just like a diagram that Adam would use to then book said groups who get certain priority. So we're kind of just looking for feedback on that. If you, the board, have any like critiques, criticisms, things that need to be changed, things that you guys notice. Mainly the part we're looking at is the color system diagram would be the part that we're looking to potentially make changes to. So if anyone has anything regarding that, and then kind of the same thing is being said for the other document. So that is, we took the seasonal ice user policy and combined it with the ice rental agreement to try to just make one simplified document. That is more of a rough draft. I feel like we kind of need to look at that a little bit more. So again, just looking for any next steps from the board, any critiques, anything with that as well. So
Any questions? Jim, go ahead.
Yeah, in regards to that, thanks for the presentation. In regards to that, on page 13 of the ICE contract, reading the fine print,
mhm.
Pricing, is that that's last year's pricing, right? 159. I think our new pricing is increased by 3%.
That would probably be last year's then, yeah.
Yep,
If
okay.
changes were made, yeah.
Yep, all right. That was the only question I had, so I kind of
Yep.
assumed it was, but I just want clarification.
Yeah, because that would have been taken directly from that.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions? Jess, how's that look? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think it's great. I like seeing this. I think it'll make decisions a lot more streamlined. I do, and without Adam being here, I know it has it's got a definition of what a seasonal ice user. I'd like to know. I wouldn't want to see, I know that St. Thomas Panthers and like some of the tier 2 groups wouldn't necessarily be considered seasonal. I don't think so. There might be a little bit of a gray area because they're not September to March like Westler Minor Hockey or West Elgin Skating Club is. So might want to take a look because I wouldn't want to see, a seasonal a youth group like the St. Thomas Panthers be kicked down to tier 3 over a couple of weeks on the front and on the back, because I think we still want to see those prioritize those youth groups. So I don't want someone to be a stickler about the fine print and everything right over a couple of weeks here. So without Adam, it's hard to know, but I think from what I understand, that those youth groups don't always span the entire season.
Mhm.
So that might need to be tightened up a little bit, or even to say like, I don't think we necessarily need to define like quantify like number of weeks, or maybe that's the route, but that Adam might want to go, but maybe it's up for him to decide. wanted to point that out, other than, from my perspective with my Western minor hockey hat on, looks great because we're in the top tier. But for some of those other groups, I think with my board hat on here, I'd like to see, youth groups prioritized, because I think that's what we're trying to get, that's what we're trying to get to here. Other than that, I think it looks, fantastic.
I know Adam will use some common sense when he applies that policy, and that's the hard part about these policies, to write that common sense in. But
Yeah.
I think Adam's always done the best he could to try to get everyone the ice they needed, and sometimes it's a bit of a juggling act, I'm sure. But I know he's always worked hard at that. Yeah, Jim, go ahead.
Is it possible that these organizations could have, in their definition, a seasonal time, maybe October 1 till the 1st of March, versus our seasonal time when the ice actually goes in and goes out? Is that a possibility that they could be looking at their definition a little bit different? Our season starts, as an example, October 1 versus ice going in middle of September at our facility. I'm just curious about that, maybe. I know the men's league start later, and maybe they consider that their season is middle of October to the middle of whatever. Does that make sense? Okay.
That makes sense to me.
I don't think the plan is to approve this policy necessary today. I guess you're going to take another look at it and maybe make some minor changes.
Yeah, that's what I think. I'll take everybody's critiques and some little adjustments, and then I'll make those. I also just want to relook it over with myself and Adam and just do some fine tuning to it. And then maybe next meeting I can represent both, and then we can go from there. It seems like everyone is more okay with the arena ice user tier system, if I'm understanding that, but just some wording, seasonal ice user, we need to kind of clarify, but more work needs to be done on the actual package. That's kind of what I'm getting. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And that's good, because I think we want the tier system to be approved maybe sooner. So then Adam can start with the booking and stuff like that and how he's going about that. But yeah, I can have those both redone for the next meeting.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
one. Sorry.
Go ahead, Jess.
Yeah, sorry, Mr. Chair. I think also it's just something to consider is that, and this is kind of falls into that common sense bucket, but something to consider is that when ice is released from that tier 1, that, I would hope that the other tier 1s would be reached out to first, which totally makes sense financially, because, within that they are, they're all real seasonal users. But that be considered first. I don't think that necessarily has to be written down, but just something to consider.
Okay, good. Any other comments on the ice use policy? If not, I guess we'll go on to number 8 on the agenda, which is adjournment. So I need a mover and a second to adjourn the meeting. Bill and Jess, all in favor?
No.
Thanks, everyone.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
Ken.
Take care.
See you later.
Goodbye. Thank you.